Muhammad Iqbal was born in 1877 in the city of Sialkot in British India. Iqbal was born into a time when the Indian subcontinent was ruled by the British, and the Muslims who had ruled India for centuries were now subjects of another empire. Therefore, Muhammad Iqbal wanted to reform the social and political situation of Indian Muslims, as he believed that one of the main reasons for the downfall of Muslim rule in India was the moral decadence and the corruption of Muslim rulers. At a young age, Muhammad Iqbal memorized the Quran and he mastered the Urdu, Persian and Arabic languages under the tutelage of his religious teacher known as Mir Hassan. After completing his religious education, Muhammad Iqbal wanted to familiarize himself with Western education. Therefore, he enrolled at the British institution known as the Government College of Lahore. In 1905, Iqbal left India and travelled to London, where he obtained a law degree from the University of Cambridge. He then obtained a master's degree in philosophy and economics, and he later travelled to Germany and studied philosophy at the universities of Munich and Heidelberg, and he obtained a PhD. After living in Europe and studying Western philosophy, Iqbal realized that despite its material progress, Western civilization was devoid of a soul and was an empty shell. In his writings, Muhammad Iqbal strongly criticized the atheist and materialist ideas of modern Western philosophers such as Nietzsche. Muhammad Iqbal was also angered at the hypocritical Western ideals of liberty and justice which Western governments implemented in their own lands, while at the same time colonizing Eastern countries and plundering their wealth. During his time studying in Europe, Iqbal worked as a professor of Arabic and philosophy at the University of London. Muhammad Iqbal became so popular that he was invited to France, Spain and Italy, where he delivered lectures and met leaders such as Mussolini. When he visited France, the French government asked him to visit its colonies in North Africa. However, he refused to represent European colonizers in an occupied Muslim country. In one of his lectures in London, Iqbal addressed his Western audience and stated the following: "Your civilization will kill itself with its own dagger. The nest does not stand on a weak, troubled branch." Iqbal stayed in Europe for 3 years and he returned to India in 1908. Muhammad Iqbal's visit to Europe strengthened his belief in Islam and made him even more convinced of the superiority of Islamic civilization. In one of his poems, he stated, "Musalman ko musalman kar diya tufan maghrib ne, tala tum haye darya hi se hai gohar ki serabi." When he returned to India in 1908, he began teaching at the Government College of Lahore, teaching philosophy, Arabic literature and English literature. However, he resigned from the college after working there for a year and a half. Iqbal resigned because he was constantly being harassed by British authorities and did not have freedom of speech. He stated, "Serving the English is difficult, and the most difficult part of it is that I cannot speak my mind and say what is in my heart, as long as I serve them. Today I am free, and I can say whatever I want." After he stopped working in British institutions, Iqbal began teaching in independent Islamic universities such as the Islamic College of Lahore and the Jamia Millia Islamic University in Delhi. After he became an independent lecturer, Muhammad Iqbal began calling on Indian Muslims to revive their glorious past and reject Western ideologies such as communism and capitalism. Eventually, Iqbal became involved in politics and he joined the political party known as the All India Muslim League, which was created for the purpose of representing Indian Muslims. Because of his popularity, the British authorities in India tried to convince Iqbal to work for the British government, and they tried to seduce him with political positions. For example, the British offered Muhammad Iqbal the position of Viceroy of South Africa, but he refused the position. Iqbal continued his anti-colonial stance and he continued to participate in Muslim League conferences. He spoke out against the British education system which was imposed on Indians in order to make them into nothing more than tools for a materialistic and consumerist society devoid of morals and ethics. Iqbal proposed a new education system that was more holistic, and he emphasized the need for the moral, spiritual, and cultural development of students, rather than just teaching them material sciences. This is expressed beautifully in the following poem. इल्म ने मुझसे कहा इश्क है दीवानापन, इश्क ने मुझसे कहा इल्म है तखमीन व ज़न, बंदा तखमीन व ज़न किरम किताबी ना बन, इश्क सरापा हुजूर इल्म सरापा हिजाब. Iqbal continued to represent Indian Muslims in the political field, and he continued to speak out against the unjust policies of the British Empire. Because many British-backed Hindu leaders were trying to limit the influence of Muslims in Indian politics, Muhammad Iqbal maintained strong connections with Muslims from all across the world. Muhammad Iqbal traveled to various Muslim countries such as Afghanistan, Egypt, Hijaz, and Palestine. He was extremely proud of the ethnic diversity of the Islamic world, and he called on all Muslims to unite in the face of colonialism. In the year 1933, Iqbal was invited to Afghanistan by King Nadir Khan in order to suggest changes to the curriculum of Kabul University. Muhammad Iqbal also visited the Arab world. During his visit to the Arab world, a large volume of his poetry was translated into the Arabic language by Arab intellectuals such as Abdul Wahab Azzam, Sheikh Al-Sawi Sha'lan, Muhammad Hassan Al-Azami, Muhammad Abdul Mun'im Ibrahim, and Muhammad Hussein Haikal. Iqbal's writings were also praised by many other Arab writers such as Sayyid Qutb, Taha Hussein, Naghib al-Kilani, and Abbas al-Aqad. In addition to this, the famous Egyptian singer known as Kulthum famously sang Arabic translations of Iqbal's poetry. Iqbal was also highly influential in the Islamic revival movement in Persia. Iqbal's influence in Iran was spread through his Persian poetry and also through various Iranian writers such as Ali Shariati. Muhammad Iqbal was able to captivate readers in the Arab world and Iran because of his immense knowledge of Islamic history and his deep insights into Arabic and Persian poetry. In his poems, Iqbal often quotes Arab poets such as Abul Ala al-Ma'arri and Persian poets such as Jalaluddin Rumi. After returning to India, Iqbal continued his political activities in the All India Muslim League party. Iqbal participated in elections and was elected as a member of the Legislative Assembly in Punjab. In 1930, Muhammad Iqbal chaired the annual meeting of the Muslim League. In this meeting, Iqbal famously presented his idea of the establishment of an independent state for Muslims in the Indian subcontinent. This state would eventually be known as Pakistan. However, Iqbal passed away before the state was established. Iqbal wanted a homeland for Muslims in the Indian subcontinent where they could be strong and influential. He once stated the following: I do not accept nationalism in its European form, and I do not completely reject it for fear that this will harm the interests of Muslims in India. However, I reject the Western idea of nationalism because I see within it the seeds of atheistic materialism, which for me is the greatest danger to humanity in our time. There is no doubt that patriotism has its place and impact on a person's life. But what really counts is a person's faith, culture, and historical norms. These are, in my opinion, the things that are worth living and dying for, not a patch of land. Muhammad Iqbal wanted the future state of Pakistan to be governed by Islamic principles, and he rejected the version of nationalism that was being practiced in Turkey after the fall of the Ottoman Empire. Iqbal criticized the Ataturk movement in modern Turkey, which turned its back on Islam and completely detached itself from religion and everything related to it. Chino Arab Hamara, Hindustan Hamara, Muslim hai hum, Watan hai sara jahan hamara. Throughout his life, Iqbal wrote 9 collections of poetry, which include 12,000 verses of poetry in the Persian and Urdu languages. Muhammad Iqbal passed away on April 21st, 1938, and was buried in the city of Lahore. Muhammad Iqbal remains a huge inspiration not just for Muslims in the Indian subcontinent, but for many Muslims across the world.
खुदा का आखरी